Well, good morning. Joe coming at you on Healthy Habits, and I have the pleasure today of talking to an old friend, and we go back, I think, almost 25 years or more. Jeff's been a friend of mine, and a true friend is one that you don't see for years. You pick up where you left off, right, Jeff?
You betcha. I think, I hate to say it, Joe, we're old enough, it's getting close to 30 years, I think. So,
oh goodness. Well, we both got a little gray, a little bit wiser than we were 30 years ago, I guess. So, today, folks, I want to bring Jeff's story. I want to bring a Jeff story because he's got one that when I found out about recently, especially what he's been through, I said to myself, here's a guy that had a lifelong healthy habit of taking care of himself with diet and exercise, and he enjoyed a great quality of life. And I guess the title of this video interview is going to be how lifelong healthy habits can lead to a quality of life, especially in times when illness strikes. And Jeff's going to share that a little bit, but we want to go through and cover this because I think we're trying here at Ours Healthy Habits to let you know that your journey, your health journey is so vital, especially one where you really take care of yourself, because without it, you're not going to have a quality life, and I'm going to say it might actually save your life and keep you around a lot longer. So, Jeff, real quick, if you just give us a background about, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll ask some questions.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Joe, I've been friends for close to 30 years. I think I was probably close to 30 when we met, so half my life. I'm former military guy. I went to played sports in high school. Graduated high school, went to West Point. Did my 4 years there, graduated, and then became a United States Army officer. Did that for a few years, about 8 years, got out, and I've been in the tech industry ever since, worked for a technology company. But I've always kept, to your point, an active lifestyle, an outdoor lifestyle. I've, done different things, like I ran the High Adventure program for a Boy Scout troop my son was in. I'm the vice president now of the local search and rescue team here in Colorado, in our county. So, and I spent a lot of time outdoors, a lot of time doing activities, and just, as you said, just been doing a lot of things over my life that contributing to my fitness, but just in general, because I like them, right? And I like these activities, so.
So pretty much even before you were in high school, you started really just taking care of yourself, exercising, way before you even went in the military, correct?
Yeah, so I was going through some family photographs here recently, and I pulled out some pictures my dad took of me playing football. I think I must have been 10 years old. And I've been in sports and activities for as long as I can remember. Literally as long as I can remember. Wrestling team in high school, football team, things like that. And then, of course, you go off to a place like West Point, and physical fitness is part of your evaluation, right? It's part of your class rank, for that matter. You tested, all throughout the year, various fitness tests. And then, of course, once you become an Army officer, it literally is part of your evaluation. It goes on to your annual performance reviews, what your physical fitness score was. By the time I got out of the service, I was in my 30s, working out every morning. Fitness was just part of it, and it's just a lifestyle at that point. So you continue it. You adjust, right? I mean, the routine becomes a little different with age. Routine becomes a little different when you have younger kids, right? The time that you have, routine becomes a little different when your kids are older now. Perhaps, my son and daughter, they're backpacking and camping and doing different things, and I'm trying to keep up. In some cases, I'm coaching, right? So I'm out there coaching their teams or helping coach their teams. And then, of course, now that the kids have flown the nest, you adjust again, right? I have some time, I can adjust. I don't run as much as I used to. My joints don't like that as much, but I bike a lot more. The altitude here, we're at 8,000 feet, a little over 8,000 feet as I'm sitting here right now. And our search and rescue goes up to 14,000 feet at times. So again, you adjust to a lot of endurance activities and other things like that. But back to your question, you bet. Fitness in some form or another for literally since my earliest memories.
So, and you just explained a little bit about some of the quality of life. You're able to do some things for your kids right now that are phenomenal. Some of the backpack, I know you told me last week, you said, yeah, I just got back from a 10-mile hike and I went to it was an elevation of 4,000 feet gain. So I'm like, not bad for a 6-year-old guy, especially who's been fighting a pretty serious illness. All because that years and years and years of taking care of yourself and giving you that kind of stamina. Why don't you share a little bit? I know that you really took care of yourself all your life and did healthy habits with fitness and diet because you wanted to better do things and have a quality life. But tell us real briefly what happened a few years ago that really was a huge challenge and probably a shock to you. Because I think that's something people really need to know about.
Yeah. So 2 years, well, not quite 2 years ago. So it was Thanksgiving week of 2020. We had just actually gone up to Denver, dropped my son off. He enlisted. He's in the Air Force now. Drove back that evening. I had a little low-grade fever. Wasn't feeling 100%. Had to go into town the next day anyway. And, this was during, kind of the peak of COVID, right? So what does everybody think? I didn't have any symptoms other than a low fever. But I thought, well, better safe than sorry, go and get a test, right? I'm going to be in town anyway. So I stopped by the emergency room, the easiest place to get a test, went in, got the test. And while I'm sitting there waiting for the results, they come back and say, hey, good news, no COVID. They said, and they had drawn some blood and some other things because without the COVID, they were just trying to diagnose maybe why I had the fever, that sort of thing. A few other, just aches and pains. And so 45 minutes later or so, they came back in. Hey, do you have, bottom line to the whole story is I went in for a COVID test, came out with 2 hours later on a medevac flight with leukemia. So, it's not something that's something you expect to happen. Go and get your COVID test, walk out the door with leukemia. So, medevaced out that night to Denver. They confirmed the diagnosis in Denver Wednesday, and then Thanksgiving Day I started chemo. When I was diagnosed at the time, my white blood cell count was 20 times normal, and with all the distorted, cancerous results of the cancer, right? And my red blood cell count was 30% of normal. It was down 70%. And this was, and I was still, back to your point of, keeping fit and everything else. I'm still up until that point, just a few weeks before that, I was at 13,000, 14,000 feet on a rescue, and had been doing it all summer actually. And so I was feeling a little tired, right? But I just figured, hey, dude, you're 58, 59, whatever it was at the time, and guess what? Time's undefeated. It catches up with everybody. Turns out I had no red blood cells, very few anyway, and was fighting off a cancer that I didn't know I had. So,
well, interesting too. A lot of people probably don't realize that the significance of 30% RBC, red blood cell count, means that his oxygen and carrying ability was so low that it's amazing that he was able to actually function at that height, let alone do stuff. So, Jeff, that's incredible. Now, you also said the doctors were very pleased when you went through your chemo and everything else that you're in good shape, and that probably they were able to be a little bit more aggressive with your therapy.
Well, so when I went into the hospital, even with the low blood cell count, my resting heart rate was in the high 40s, low 50s. My respiration's good. I have no blood pressure issues. I don't take any blood pressure meds. I don't take any cholesterol medication. Don't take any antacid medication. I don't take anything. Going into it, and so as a result, they were able to pretty aggressively attack the cancer. And I went through a series of different protocols. I mean, people can look it up if they want. I was diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, and it also helped that I'm about 12 years younger than the average person who gets diagnosed. So between my level of fitness and age, they were able to attack it pretty aggressively. And as of the last few months, anyway, the doctor says I'm in remission. My blood counts are all normal. I certainly feel 100% better now that I actually have red blood cells.
That's fascinating. CLL is a long-term thing, and it is chronic, and it's never really gone. But here's the good thing: is you're already in remission after a short period of time on chemo. That's fantastic. But obviously, I think they're probably so pleased the way that you've taken care of yourself before, and even now. And you mentioned something, and then I'm gonna wrap up a little bit with a few things. You mentioned you were able to do a lot of things during your treatment that were near normal quality of life things, correct?
Yeah, so there are times when you're going in through the infusions and that takes like 8 hours a day, things like that. Obviously, that impacts. But and there are times when you get a little fatigue, things like that, or I did anyway. But outside of that, it really didn't affect me. It really didn't alter my quality of life or lifestyle that much, and I think a lot of that's because the base level fitness I brought into it, right? And so I was able to work out almost every day. I wasn't, doing 1,000 push-ups a day. I was going into it, but I could still do 600-700, whatever it was. I could still do my push-ups and different things. It took me a while to get back to the point where I was comfortable, going on a morning 10-mile hike, those sort of things. But I was able to stay on the stationary bike, that helped. And again, I've been able to keep my resting heart rate, like I said, at this point is probably the mid 40s now. So I've been able to drop it a little bit, keep the weight off, just various things that having that level of fitness and watching your diet and, getting the appropriate level of rest and all the things you need to do that you and I have talked about this before. I'm not a physiology fitness PhD or anything. I'm just a guy that knows how to read books and look on the internet and try different things out and see what works for me. And I know that donuts are wonderfully tasty, but you got to limit them. And fresh fruits and vegetables and lean meats and moderation are all things that I control. Right, I control. And so why wouldn't I? Is just part of taking care of what the Lord's given me to take care of, at least for my lifetime. So
fantastic. And I kind of disagree. You're just a guy. I think you're a miracle what you've been able to accomplish in this fight. And so glad that you're on the other side. And I know you're going to continue to do whatever they need to do to keep that at bay. But so happy about this amazing testimony, I guess. And I know you're a man of faith too, which always helps. Without that, sometimes I don't know where we'd be. We can do everything on our own, but we need the bigger hand. So I'm also gonna refer you to there's the RX Healthy Habits. We have our YouTube channel, and Jeff's done a lot of exercise things through his life, and I'm hoping, Jeff, down the road we can get you back to talk about some of those things that you can do. I'm into biking like you are. I'm into hiking like you are. Not as intense as you do, but we go out and do some hikes and we do a lot of biking. And I think one of the things I want you to gain from RX Healthy Habits, our website and our videos on YouTube, and you can get all those from RX Healthy Habits. There's a blog right there. Is the fact that you need to find some things to do to really get you engaged in some activity on a regular basis you enjoy. And like Jeff says, you got to find something you like. So Jeff, I'm just going to have you maybe give maybe some parting words of wisdom, and we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, this isn't rocket surgery, folks. It really isn't. I mean, find what you like to do and get active. I mean, watch your diet, do the things. Follow the advice of Joe and Elizabeth and the others that I really hear. But just get out and do it. I mean, the old shoe commercial, whatever. Move, start moving. Just do whatever it takes. You don't have to be some kind of super fitness guru person to do this. Just get out there, find what you like to do, find your passions, whatever they may be, and pursue them. It's that easy.
Yeah, and Jeff, again, hopefully we get you back, but thank God that everything's going well for you, and we certainly appreciate you taking the time today. So until next video, Jeff, take care.
You bet, Joe. Thanks. Good chatting.